Hey guys, it's Sam. Welcome to my channel. If you're new to my channel, thank you for stopping by. So in this video, I just kind of want to put a disclaimer out there. This isn't going to be like what your experience is going to be like in beauty school. This was just what my experience was. You guys might have like the most amazing experience. You might have the worst experience. You never know until you go, but beauty school is a necessity. It is just kind of like paying your dues. It's something that you have to do if you want to be a hairstylist. Let's just say it's something you have to do if you want people to respect you in the beauty industry. This is just going to be my journey and my story of how beauty school went for me. If you guys are interested, then just keep watching. Guys, so just a quick little bio about me. I am 27 years old currently. When I went to beauty school, I believe I was 19 when I first started. So I had been out of high school for a year, I believe, and then I decided to go to beauty school. So I kind of took a little break and then I went to beauty school. The beauty school that I chose to go to was Paul Mitchell, and the beauty school that was in town, I hadn't heard really great things about it, and I had known of a couple people that went to the school and they weren't too fond of it. So I just really didn't want to go there, and I knew that if I wanted to be an independent stylist, having the name Paul Mitchell on my resume, or just for anybody that would hear about me, if you have like Paul Mitchell graduate after your name, like it just sounds a lot better than like creative. I don't know. That's just my opinion and what I've been told. Of course, before you go to any school, you want to get a tour and see if you like it. Well, at the time, there was a Paul Mitchell school that had just opened in Mokina. Actually, I don't think it had just opened. I think that one might have been there for like 2 years before I decided to go. But I knew a couple people that had went there and they loved it. They were like about to graduate. So I was like, let me join, like let me go. It's going to be so amazing. I can't wait. So looking back at it, I probably should have stayed at that school. Let me just tell you guys, I also ended up going to the Paul Mitchell school in Chicago, which is obviously big time, big city, big deal. Mokina, of course, was a great school, but I don't know, for some reason, like I liked the school and I liked the structure. Like Paul Mitchell has a great structure for their students, like the learning, like you go and it's kind of like a lot of book work and then it's hands-on and then it's straight up hands-on. Like, you know, part of the day you're in the classroom, part of the day you're working on your doll head. And then once you get through that stage, then it's, you know, half the day is book work, the other half is straight up working on clients that come into the Paul Mitchell salon at the school. So you have to get to that point where you're straight up working on people, because when you first start, you're not going to feel comfortable anyway. When I went to the school in Mokina, I liked it, but I, believe it or not, am more of a shy, like keep to myself kind of person, and I really didn't have a lot of friends. And that's kind of like, I feel like what makes or breaks a situation at a new school or anything, depending on your age and maturity and just where you see things. But at the time, I just wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with who I was dating. I wasn't happy at home. I wasn't happy not having friends at the school. The school was great. I just wasn't happy at the time. So I ended up, long story short, moving to North Carolina, not going to beauty school, saying screw it, like I want to go to beauty school, but I'll go to the beauty school down in North Carolina. I walked into that beauty school. It was in Gastonia. I have never felt more uncomfortable. Like everybody was just staring at me. Nobody was welcoming. I was like, screw this, don't want to go here, never mind, I'll just work and live here. Then I moved to Indianapolis because I decided I was going to get my shit together and move home. Well, one of my friends at the time lived in Indianapolis. She's like, well, it's on your way. Why don't you just stop here, stay here, live here? Like, we'll have so much fun. I'm like, yeah, you know what, whatever. So this whole time, my beauty school was on hold. And once you're out of beauty school, you have to start paying your student loans back. So I had already been like starting to pay my student loans, but then like I put them on hold because I was planning on going to beauty school. Well, I just didn't. So for those 2 years, it didn't happen for me. Then after that, I decided to move back home and get my shit together for real this time. So at the time, while I was gone, they had built a Paul Mitchell school in Chicago. And obviously going to this Paul Mitchell school in Chicago sounds way better than going to the one in Mokina, because Mokina was just more chill. It was just like, I felt like I had been there, done that. Like, beauty school should only take you about a year and a half to complete if you're going every single day and clocking in and clocking out as you should. So I went to the Paul Mitchell School in the city. I got a tour. The guy who gives you a tour is just, he's very, you know, it's his job to like kind of woo you in and get you to like want to go to a school and all of that stuff. So I mean, of course, the way that they make it sound is like you're going to learn all of this stuff and it's just going to be the best and blah, 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 blah. So I signed up, and of course I felt like, okay, I'm going to join. And at the time when I joined, there had only been like 2 classes before mine. So the school was still like new, and they were kind of still like figuring things out of how things were going to go and like a schedule and things like that. But the classes were smaller, so I felt like I was getting more one-on-one attention. And because I was starting with a new class, none of these people had been to beauty school yet. None of them knew anything. I was coming from like, I had already spent a few months in beauty school. I kind of already knew what I was doing, but then I left and I had that like hiatus. So it was kind of like, when I came back to beauty school, I'm like, hell yeah, like I'm gonna rock this shit. I'm gonna get in, get out. I'm gonna graduate before my class because I already have all these credit hours. So I think I only needed to spend like roughly like 8 more months at the school, and then I would be done and moved on, have my license, all of that stuff. Well, it didn't work out that way because in beauty school, I was quite the slacker. So before I even went to beauty school, I knew it was something that I always wanted to do. I felt like I knew everything, which I don't. I still don't, and I'm mature enough now to tell you that. There's still stuff every day that I'm learning, and I think even the most like highly educated hairstylists, they still don't claim to know everything. Like, you're gonna learn more and more and more every day. The trends are always changing. There's different techniques to use. You always have to be willing to learn. And when I was in beauty school, I just wanted to get in and get out and start working. I felt like, I mean, because I did sort of already know what I was doing. Like, I was very quick with hair. I was very good at learning, understanding color, cuts, things like that. So I just wanted to get in and get out, and come to find out at the end, I actually graduated after my class because of all the days that I chose to miss school, all the days that I would clock in late. I just hated being in beauty school, and towards the end it was just draining for me because towards the end of my experience, so many more people had heard about Paul Mitchell, so many more people were joining the school, and I mean, there would be one teacher and 12 people surrounding them like, hey, can you sign my sheet? Because after you do something on your mannequin head, somebody's supposed to sign it off. Well, they would just be so overwhelmed and be like they couldn't give you the attention that you needed. And I felt like towards the end, I was just getting like brushed off. Like, people didn't even really like want to talk to you. You couldn't get that one-on-one attention from a teacher unless you were to kiss their ass. Now, like I'm saying, this is not your experience. Is not what's going to happen to you if you go. It's a really great school. This was just my experience and how I feel about it. So yeah, I just really wasn't that happy with the teacher to student ratio. Okay, so one thing that I wasn't a fan of when it came to the school is the fact that when they noticed that you were good at something, like when you were out working on the floor, which the floor is like the salon part of the school, when you're out working on the floor, when they noticed you were good at something, they would continue to give it to you. So for me, I was good at color. I felt like they wanted the clients that were coming in to be happy and make sure that they were happy, instead of making sure that we were getting the education that we needed, that they were making sure that we were really learning. Because let me tell you, when it comes to color, that's something that you can practice on a doll head, okay? But when it comes to men's cutting, that's not something you can learn on a doll head. Once you cut that hair off, it's gone. Mannequins are not cheap. They're like anywhere between $60 and $100 and something dollars. Like, they're not cheap. So as far as men's cutting goes, that wasn't something that I got much experience on. They just told me if I wanted to practice on more men, then I needed to tell my friends and family to come in so I could do their hair. And that to me was a bunch of bullshit, because there's people that were coming in every single day for men's cuts, and I was just never given them. Looking back, I kind of feel like it happened for a reason, because the way I do hair now, I don't take male clients. I don't do men's hair because not only am I not comfortable with it, but I'm not comfortable doing it in the space that I do hair in. So I just don't do men's cuts anyway, so it doesn't really matter that I didn't learn it. I still cut my dad's hair. I just scissor cut it. I do use a little bit of the clippers, but like fading and that kind of stuff is just stuff that I can't do. But I wish that I would have learned it, and that kind of sucks that I didn't. So another thing is they had said you were going to learn makeup. We took one makeup class, guys. One makeup class, and basically it was just like on how to correct like redness in people's skin. Like say somebody has redness, you'd use a green primer, like things like that, which are important to know. But I mean, people wanted to know, we wanted to know the creative stuff. You know, we're creative people. Of course you need to know the basics behind things, but we wanted to be creative. We wanted to learn. We wanted to have fun with it. We asked for makeup classes. They never gave us makeup classes. And when you're paying over $20,000 to go to beauty school, you should get a whole lot more makeup classes than that one. Now let me tell you, I went to beauty school, like it's almost been 7 years now since I graduated from beauty school. So maybe they've changed that. Maybe they do incorporate more makeup classes. I'm not sure. But I can tell you guys that the makeup information that I give you is stuff that I've learned on my own, stuff that I've learned on YouTube. That's where you're going to learn makeup stuff. Like I wouldn't even waste my time going, you know, because I honestly thought about going and taking makeup classes, but that's like another $7,000. I learned on YouTube. Like most of the popular YouTubers, they didn't even go to makeup school. They just, it's practice, you know? Whereas with hair, you have to have a license to do it. So that's like the difference. So I get why they didn't really make that a main focus, but I definitely think they could have incorporated more makeup classes. Also, when it came to like nails and things like that, when I was at the first beauty school I was at, we had like pedicure stations. So when people would come in, you could give them pedicures. We could give them manicures. At the one in Chicago, they didn't have pedicure stations. They didn't have manicure stations. Nails was like not even a thing. Like the only way we learned nails was on each other in class. It wasn't like you could do that on people, like the clients that would come in. So that was kind of like another bummer. I guess the main thing is if I could go back, just like any time, of course you could go back in time, you're going to have learned different things and you're going to maybe have gone about things a little bit differently. So if you guys are interested in beauty school, some tips that I would give you are take full advantage of any classes that they offer you. If you can stay after school and do like teams like that or things like that, like make sure that you definitely are involved in everything. They will tell you, like, if you have a question, just ask. But a lot of the time, you, just like in normal, regular school, you don't want to ask questions because you don't want to look dumb. But I'm telling you, the more questions you ask, the better off you're going to be. Because when you get out of there, none of those students you were with matter. It's what you know and what you can take on with you in life and in the salon. So definitely ask questions. There's no such thing as a dumb question. If you feel uncomfortable, ask the teacher after class. Okay guys, so honestly I could make this video so freaking long and talk about it forever. If you guys have any more questions about my beauty school experience that you want to know, leave comments in the description box below and I will make sure, I promise, to comment back. I love to interact with you guys in that, so make sure you leave your comment below. Also, I don't want you guys to see this as like a hate video. The school in itself has great intentions. It was an amazing place to go. I'm glad that I have the name Paul Mitchell on my resume. Their color sucks to mix. I could say that. It's like the worst color ever to try to mix. But when you get out of school, you try other things. Okay, anyways, I'm done rambling. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.